College of Engineering, here to answer your questions about our co-op program. So we are going to have a little PowerPoint presentation we'll show later on, but we're going to go around, give introductions just so you know who's going to be speaking with you today. My name is Ryan Crudder, and I work with our transfer population as well as students that do dual enrollment CCP while they're in high school.
I'm Angie Gorny, and I serve as the director in the Shah Center for Engineering Career Development.
Hello and welcome. My name is John Pawlecki, and I serve as the Director of Student Services and Transfer Partnerships here at the University of Toledo College of Engineering.
My name is Ben Wolak. I'm a student junior here in mechanical engineering.
My name's Erica Fatika. I'm a third-year mechanical engineer student.
I'm Jessica Swope. I'm a third-year bioengineering student.
And if you guys have any questions during this presentation, feel free to use the chat function to chat to the host and panelists, and we'll be able to filter those throughout our presentation.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started to talk about some of the basics of the UToledo Co-op Program. So thank you guys for joining us today. As we said, we have some students here and some staff that are happy to answer any questions you might have, but we will go through some of the basics and try to address any of those questions you have. So first off, what is cooperative education? So here at the University of Toledo, we have a mandatory co-op program. So we are one of 8 institutions that have this program built, and we've been doing it for a while. So we've been around since about 20 years. We've been doing it since fall 2018, and we're very proud of the network of employers that we have built. Our students graduate with 1 year's worth of work experience in the 3 co-ops that they do. So they do 3 semesters, 12 to 15 weeks, and that translates to 1 year of experience. So our students are doing real work out in industry related to their major. They're not getting coffee. They're not grabbing laundry. They are definitely engaging in research, developing products and services, and working with clients and customers. So our students do this starting their sophomore year, and we'll talk a little bit more about plans in a couple of slides. But truly, that first year is mostly academic. Students have the opportunity to kind of build the skill set within their major. And then we also address how to prepare for co-op in the second semester of that freshman year. So I don't know why that keeps going like that, but you could see that there was a dinner celebration slide with a picture of our 20-year anniversary that we celebrated in that fall 2018, where we invited some of the key employers and government agencies that really helped to get us to where we are today. So what have some of our students done on co-op? So these are real examples in 2019 of the work our students did. There's a variety of majors present here. So in our CSE area, our students are doing everything from mobile app development to database migrations. Our electrical engineering students are doing work with AutoCAD, robotics, and different types of manufacturing, as well as our mechanical engineering students. We have some working on network attacks and network security across government agencies, and then a variety of FDA certifications, validations, and then anything related to materials in the chemical engineering area as well. But we want to take a moment to let our students really talk a little bit about what they have done on co-op, so you can get some real examples and maybe ask them some further questions.
Sure. I'm Jessica. I'm the one that's third-year bio-e. I co-opted at Zimmer Biomet this past fall, and I worked on a project for remediation. So we were bringing up our past products and lines of products from when we merged Zimmer and Biomet together up to today's standards. So I did a lot of design controls, which is like risk management, the design process, working on safety factors and making sure the quality of the product is good for the patient. So if you don't know, this is an orthopedic company. So I did a lot with the safety of the patient and making sure that the quality of the product was really good, because you can't just put anything random in a patient's body. It takes a lot goes into this product. So on the side, we kind of got to work on some 3D modeling. I used NX, which is a lot like SolidWorks, to design my own product. And we did a cadaver lab, We got to do some hands-on sawbones labs, which is like fake bone, and you learn how to do the procedures that the actual surgeons do in the ER. And then most of my work revolved around FDA verification, like was mentioned. It didn't seem like very fun work, but it was super, super important. And if one thing goes wrong of what I was doing, that could cause an audit and a lot of money. So it was really cool to have kind of all that authority in my hands.
My name's Erica. I'm the third-year mechanical engineer and student, and I had the opportunity of working at 2 companies for the last 2 semesters. So in the summer, I worked at North Star Blue Scope Steel, and it's a steel factory, and I had the opportunity to work with process engineers, and I did mechanical engineering tasks for them that would improve their quality of work. I used programs like AutoCAD and Inventor. I was able to go up right next to ladles. I had 1600 degrees Celsius full of steel. It was a really cool experience to see like the down and dirty kind of job, blue collared, working hard, getting dusty and dirty every single day. And then in the fall, I worked for GE Appliances in Louisville, Kentucky. And I got the opportunity to be on the launch of a new dryer system that's actually in stores now, which is really cool to see. I know how to take that whole dryer apart and put it back together. I was working closely with the engineers, making sure that we were able to launch on time. I worked in the labs and got to set parameters and work on safety procedures. I also used a lot of MATLAB to process data, and it was really fantastic. Very different companies. One's a small company, one's a large company. I got to see best of both sides.
My name is Ben again, and I was a mechanical engineering intern at Dana Corporation in Maumee, Ohio. And at that company, I worked both of my rotations so far in the mechatronics departments, where I worked on a lot of actuators and did a lot of testing on different types of sensors and actuators that we have there. Built a lot of wiring harnesses and a lot of fixtures, and got to do a lot of design and NX and related software. And it was very nice working in a company that was close to UT, so I could still be involved in on-campus stuff here at the university.
Thank you, guys. We got a question that came in. I think Angie, this is going to be geared towards you. We have a student that asked, are international students allowed to do co-ops?
Yes. So international students, it's still part of the curriculum. We work with you very closely over that first year to really help you be prepared like everyone else. But one additional aspect to it is that you have what they call curricular practical training, which is CPT, which allows you to work for 364 days here, as long as it's related to your major. So we will help you secure that full-time position out in the co-op industry of your choice that, fits within the major, and we'll get that set up with you and work with you through that process. So you can work part-time as a student, employee, if that's something that you're interested in doing throughout your college career. That does not affect your CPT eligibility. So that 1 year of CPT allows you the opportunity to work here on those co-ops. And so we will work with that time restraint, and we'll make sure that we get you out as quickly as we can and get you networking with the employers that really love our international students. So great question.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you've heard a little bit about what the students have done on co-op, but a lot of times we get questions about when do I get to go out on co-op? It's oftentimes something that students are eager to do. So we have developed 2 plans that prepare you to go out. And so that spring semester of year 1 is when you take a course called professional development. And that course really goes over materials like resumes, mock interviews, professional ethics. There's oftentimes an opportunity to meet employers in the major that you are in. And so it gives you really the confidence to go and seek that first co-op. And you can see here that students will either co-op the second semester of year 2, or they'll go out the summer between year 2 and year 3. And so the only difference to this schedule really is if we have any bioengineering students. They go out a year later because they need a little bit more coursework prior to being able to really contribute out in industry. So we have built the program, though, where you can still complete your 3 or 4 co-ops within about a 4.5-year time frame. So for our international students, that 4th co-op may not be able to happen because of that CPT. However, we have had students do part-time work or other things. We'll work with you if you would like to continue to kind of find industry-related experiences. We do have other plans that we can work with if you're an NCAA athlete and whatnot. So we have to abide by certain regulations, but those are things that don't touch everybody. So we really try to focus on Plan A or Plan B for most of our students. And then where do our students co-op? So they co-op in 46 states and 44 countries around the world. So a lot of the international opportunities have existed because either one, we have an employer that has an international footprint, or two, students have returned home because maybe they were from China or they were from another country. And so we are in the middle of formalizing an international program so that any student who would like the opportunity to go abroad can co-op abroad. And I'll talk about that in a few slides as well. But you can see that we have a large footprint. So really the sky's the limit. If you have an interest, we will help you try to capitalize on that and find a position, in an area that you're very interested in visiting and living for a semester. Again, these are just some of the logos of some of the companies and employers that we work with regularly. However, like I said in the very beginning, this is not all encompassing. We have over 20,000 employers in our network. And so we oftentimes work with those employers, but students find ones on their own as well. So if you are a student that has a contact or has a company in mind that we don't currently work with, we will work with you to try to help you find positions or opportunities that exist out in industry in that area as well. So some of these folks are also our corporate partners. So we have select employers that have contributed dollars and time and effort to really helping our students prepare for the world of work. And so those employers have an opportunity to network with our students and speak with our students. They provide valuable workshops to students to help them prepare for co-op. And so a few of these employers are some of those that really engage heavily with our students throughout their time while they're here as well. So I know this is something that usually really excites students because the opportunity to co-op does provide you the opportunity to earn a great wage. And so oftentimes our students can, make enough money where they can potentially help offset some of their tuition costs for later semesters. So these are salaries that the students have earned in 2019. So this is the most recent data set that we have. And you can see it's a pretty big range, but a very livable wage. So most of our students earn somewhere between $10,000 and $12,000 in a semester that they're out on co-op. And, if you do 3 co-ops, you do the math, you can see that it's very easily a large chunk of change that you can put towards tuition or other expenses as needed. Now, we do recognize that sometimes you can make a little bit more money depending on the industry or because of relocation. And we'll talk a little bit about housing because some employers pay a little bit more because they know you're either going to have to find housing on your own or maybe the area where the employer is, the housing market is a little higher for short-term leases. So some employers will do that. Some will offer a one-time stipend at the very beginning where they give you a lump sum of money, and that is provided for you to secure your own housing. And then others will have the opportunity for you to sign up for a program where they deduct pay from your paycheck every bi-weekly. And sometimes it's a very nice apartment setup that you get. So it runs the gamut in terms of opportunities for housing. So we'll let maybe the students touch on that maybe towards.
Yeah, we actually just got a question on that.
Yeah.
So if you guys kind of want to elaborate on what you did during how did you handle your housing for your co-op experience?
So my housing, you could either find it on your own or you could talk to the advisor there at Zimmer Biomet and she would give you a list of student housing that was available. And then they gave me a stipend per month to cover the cost. So it was really nice.
For my first company, housing was not provided, so I ended up actually living here on campus and commuting every day. For the second co-op, you have 2 options. You can get the provided housing that they have for you, or you take the lump sum. So in the fall, I took the provided housing, and it was really nice, but they would deduct some money out of every other paycheck. And then this coming summer, when I'm returning, I'm actually doing an Airbnb. I took the lump sum, and a group of us are getting a house.
In my experience at Dana, they right now provide in addition to your hourly wage. And so that means that you can earn it as time and a half on overtime too. So that's been really nice. But they're transitioning into providing housing for co-op students.
So I think two of you mentioned kind of still being a student here while you were out on co-op. Could you elaborate? Do you still have access to everything? Do you, can you still join organizations? What's that experience like?
So I'm pretty involved in Formula SAE, and that's never skipped a beat. So I was back on campus pretty much every night because I was still living on campus at that point. So it's pretty much just like having classes all day, and then you come back and it's pretty much the same.
For me, I would go to I was still involved in archery club, and then I'd go to the rec. You still have full access to the rec and go to the rock wall.
Okay.
Yeah. So just some program highlights. You'll see a little video click here. So what this is I wanted to give you the opportunity to, in your spare time, if you want to see what kind of employers are in our network, you can certainly download the Career Fair Plus app, which is the CF, white circle with the green square. So that is an app that you can download now and see our Spring 2020 fair and actually see what kind of employers come to the University of Toledo and recruit our students. So feel free to do that. We also use a system called Grad Leaders, and that is our resume warehouse, job posting site, evaluation. So we use it extensively with our students. And so that is a resource that is available to you to find and secure a co-op. We maximize our presence as much as possible at national events, and we network across the nation. So we've had opportunities to travel to Chicago. We have folks going out to the San Diego area that are going to be reaching out to some of our employer partners that are in those regions. And then, as I mentioned, we have a professional development course where we really try to prepare you for co-op. We offer alternative breaks. So we've done them for a year now. We did one in the fall and one in the spring, both of which have been great networking opportunities for students to really see what the world of work is like. If any of you are international students and you really are, interested in American culture and just what are some of the different ways that you can kind of get involved in with companies, those alternative breaks are a great way to do that. We are taking students to Cleveland in 2 weeks and taking them overnight for 2 nights and doing social activities as well as professional networking activities and employer site visits and tours. So those are things that our office puts on. And we're also in the middle of what we're calling developing global citizens. So this is just a quick picture, or that was a quick picture and a very quick couple of slides. I don't know why they're moving so fast, but anyways, we are doing things like an international co-op program where you can have the opportunity to co-op abroad in Toronto, Canada. And by the time some of you may be students here, we may have some other cities open as well. So Toronto's our first site, Vancouver, Canada will be our second. And then from there, we will launch other cities based on major. And so those are good opportunities for students who, like I said, wish to study abroad. You can co-op abroad. And we've had a couple of students go through the program already, and they really enjoy it and really speak highly of it. We'll have information sessions related to that. And then there was a picture of our alternative spring break as well. That was at North Star Blue Scope Steel. We took students out there to really meet senior leadership and then also get a tour of the facility. So those are just a couple of the highlights and some of the basic information we wanted to share with you about co-op, but we're certainly interested if any of you have any other questions or if my colleagues have anything else they want to add, please do.
So this is John Pawlecki, and I would just like to add, we have present today, we have 3 of our engineering science majors. So here at the University of Toledo, we have 2 different pathways for engineering. We have engineering science, and then we have engineering technology. It just so happens that our 3 student volunteers who are sharing their experience are pursuing one of our engineering science majors. However, our engineering technology students, co-op is optional for engineering technology. So if we happen to have any students out there who are listening in on the webinar who are interested in pursuing one of our engineering technology degrees, you still have the opportunity to participate in co-op. And we still have many companies who provide opportunities for engineering technology students. And there's also still the professional development. So everything is the same. It's just an optional program. But if a student chooses the option, they must commit to doing 3 semesters of co-op as well. So you can't just do 1 semester. You would have to commit to doing 3, which is to your benefit for sure, as you heard from some of our students already today. In addition, I would like to add, you heard a little bit about our corporate partners, And these corporate partners are investing in our students in several different ways. And Angie alluded to that, but I would like to mention we have a Career Expo coming up here where our students are going to be looking for positions and attending the Career Expo. And one of our corporate partners recently visited, Cooper Tires, visited the college, and they provided a presentation on how to navigate a Career Expo and how to research companies and really how to prepare for the job experience or the job search, I should say. So these are some unique opportunities that our students are getting from corporate leaders. And just so happens that in the audience, we had 2 vice presidents from Cooper Tires who attended that event. So not only are students, receiving great advice, but they're receiving, wonderful advice from leaders at these companies who we partner with.
Does anyone have any questions at all? We can open it up to the group if anyone wants to ask, the staff here questions or our students that we have with us.
One thing that we didn't necessarily mention that does come up a lot is that sometimes students wonder, if you are required to do 3 co-ops, do you have to do them all at the same place or can you move around? And the answer is that the nature of co-op really is built on the idea that you are returning to an employer because you're going to gain additional responsibilities. You've already been trained, and our employers really value the opportunity for you to return. However, you are able to change employers with permission from your co-op director. So we like to see 2 out of the 3 rotations with the same employer, and we will work with you if you decide you do want to switch industries. But I know that's something that comes up quite a bit that I did not yet allude to. So just so you know.
Yeah, and while we wait to see if you guys have any questions, if the 3 students, you guys, if you want to kind of share your favorite part about going out on co-op.
So something that happened through working at Dana, the team got to go and present to the executive board of Dana. So I got to meet a lot of interesting people through that so far.
I've enjoyed all the connections I've made down at GE Appliances. They pull from many different schools across the country and across the country and other countries throughout the world. So I think they pull in about 130 co-ops a semester. So there are plenty of people to hang out with and connect with. And actually this weekend, I'm having 5 or 6 of them come hang out with us here in Toledo. Really excited to have them back. That definitely form a bond with them.
I have to say my favorite part of co-op was the friends that I made. It was my first time away from home, and a lot of people have already been away from home being in college, but I commute to college, so I had never really been out of the house. And so making friends was really important to me because I wanted stuff to do in my free time. Sometimes work had to power through and I didn't really want to be there. So making friends was important, and we're actually planning a meetup next month. So the connections you make are really, really important, and they're really, really valuable on co-op.
Great. Well, thank you guys, and thank you for those that have joined our webinar. You can see we have contact information if you have any questions for any of us here, and then you will be getting an email from me to follow up too, so you can always reach out to that email with any questions that you have. But again, we just wanted to say thank you for taking time out of your night to do this, and we hope to see you here this fall.